I'm Brittany Sterling, and I'm going to be teaching you guys today about adolescent ethics. So first off, I'd like to see what you know so far. So here are some questions for a warm-up. If you could take a piece of scratch paper and answer what you know about medical rights for your age. I know most people are 18, so you can put also for what is the difference you have now before you were 18. And also, when do you not need parental consent, or what situations do you not need it in, what you know. And then if you do know this, how do you know this? I'll give you a couple minutes for that.
Professor Sterling, I know nothing. Curriculum, I know nothing. There are several things I probably assume that I know, but
okay, we'll write
truly,
those down then.
so I expect this to be a very enlightening period.
Okay, well, why don't you write down things that you think you know then?
Okay. Does anyone want to volunteer their answers?
Well, I know that for medical rights, we have the right to patient confidentiality, so we don't have to tell our parents everything. I don't know specifically what, but I know that we have the right to keep our history confidential, and the doctors can't tell us.
Anyone else? Natasha.
I really don't know very much about medical rights, but I'm assuming that most things that would be parental consent from under 18. I'm not quite sure how that works. So,
I said one when I'm 18. I don't have to have my parents sign forms and stuff like that anymore.
right, yeah.
But other than that, I don't really know.
Okay, first, I'm going to tell you what medical consent is. In order to complete the medical consent, an order of steps must happen. The first step is the doctor must give the patient all the information they need. So if they're consenting for a surgery or something, they have to tell them everything. Then they also have to ensure that the patient has the capability to understand and make decisions. And if it is skeptical, the doctor usually will bring in a psychiatrist who can determine what they should be able to comprehend and whether or not they do. Then you have to also make sure that the patient understands medical information. And then the patient cannot be influenced in any way. So it has to be completely unbiased when the doctor is talking to them. They also have to give other ways that might work as well. And it also can be like little unconscious actions that could make it biased, such as like raising an eyebrow when asking or talking about something to consent about, or like raising their eyebrow when they're asking, are you sure about that or something. The ability to consent is controlled by the capacity of the person, which is a medical concept of the ability to understand, and also the competence, which is a legal declaration that the patient is competent to understand. But the question is, when is it that adolescents have the capacity and competence to make decisions for themselves? So here in Washington State, we're pretty liberal about it. Informed consent from a patient of any age can get birth control, prenatal, and abortion services. You can be 12 and get this without needing parental consent. And then there are some health care that you need to be 13 years or older, and that would be for mental health treatment and then substance abuse treatment. When it comes to mental health treatment, it is really important for teenagers to be able to get that treatment without having their parents know about it, because teenagers are usually embarrassed to talk to their family about sexual curiosity and psychological problems that they're dealing with. We're going to look at some case studies. So raise your hand if you think that he has the right to say they don't want blood transfusion. Okay, I do think that. Yes.
I think that at the age of 14, he has the capacity to look at, to know the difference between life and death and the decisions to make between both of them.
Okay. What are the arguments that he shouldn't have the right to it?
Well, at 14, like, and with his, like, parent or aunt or whatever that are Jehovah's Witnesses, I feel like he'd be pressured maybe to go and say no to the blood transfusion. So, I don't know, I feel like at that age, like, he may not be, like, strong enough to say yes to it.
Okay, that's good. Natasha?
Is there a law that says doctor has to do all his power to help the survivor?
Right.
Like
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's a law that they must do, like, I presume they can help the patient. But you're not going to be able, for blood transfusion, it's a ongoing thing. So you have to force him, like, many, many times to do this. And no doctor is going to want to, like, force him against his will and, like, you know, try to make him stay down. And that would not seem ethical to them either, so it's kind of a dilemma.
I was thinking about the same thing that Natasha brought up, what is the doctor's duty? And I think it's like the doctors are to protect and preserve the lives of their patients as much as the patients want to be protected and preserved. Just because it's like isn't it the doctor's duty to give them all sides of the possible.
Yes. We're going to move on to the second case study.
Jasper meets with a doctor, likes the clinical trial, and thinks it is a great match for him. He'll be receiving a new promising drug, get regular visits with HIV specialists, and participate in a teen support group, something he has been missing. There's one catch. Jasper needs to get the informed consent from the parents.
After speaking with Jasper about the clinical trial, Dr. Grace felt uneasy. She felt horrible, and she had to tell Jasper that without parental consent, he would not enroll in the study. She told her colleague, "He is mature for his age, but the NIH, National Institute of Health, will not allow me to enroll him in the study. If I bend the rules, I could lose the funding for the study and all of the work that has been done."
I think that it is right for him to be able to do the clinical trial.
I think the law is the law, and you shouldn't break the law, but I do think that the clinical trial that you should have to have your parents sign it. If you're going to go into an experimental trial, then you should have
Well, I feel like there should be someone else that you could be able to go to that's a little bit more like a godfather, or like, you know, someone that's really close to you, but is also like a parental guidance for you. So I feel like he's put in a really bad situation with his mom, or anything like what his point of. But I feel like another person would understand where he's coming from and could also provide that parental guidance.
I think that it would have like end up like helping him if he actually told his mom. So it's not like, I mean, he may not want to at the time, but eventually, you know, it'll end up helping him fine or something. So they should keep it.
Remember also he did a lot of research and understood everything about the clinical trial. With that, do you think, with all that information, do you think he is capable of making a decision to do a clinical trial?
Well, I feel like understanding what a clinical trial is different than having the maturity to make that decision about a clinical trial. So just because like, he can comprehend what's going to happen to him doesn't mean that as a 16-year-old participating, it could really alter his life and they don't know the outcome. So it could end up being a terrible decision, and maybe if he were older, he'd think better about it, you know? So I think
Okay.
Well, kind of going with what Lisa said about the non-intention being too loud. If he was very mature, he probably wouldn't be having sex at 16 without a condom.